guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to show you how I use and combine all of the products that I have in my different project pans, Panda palette, Panda face palette, and then what I also do with regards of my shop, my stash products that I have on my everyday makeup drawer, accompanying all those project pan and project progress products that I basically have, because sometimes it tends to be overwhelming as a project planner when you have so many projects and you can't really focus on just one product for the entire year. But looks like this, or just makeup like this, that I do every day because I love doing my makeup every day. I don't have to have an event to do my makeup, is what makes me go and rotate my products. It's what helps me know what I need to finish and what I need to remove from my collection. So shopping my stash is always useful, and having in the shop my stash drawer the products from my projects, it's also useful because if I were to place them someplace else, then I wouldn't really accomplish any goals on my project plans or my project progresses. So now you will get to see a lot of these products in action while I speak about them, and that way you can see how they perform and how I use them and mix them up. I put products in here from the Roulette project pan, from my Panda face palette, from the new project that I have, which is the blush project. Then I also use products from my everyday makeup drawer, new products that I got sent that I placed on my everyday makeup drawer to just try out and use a little bit more. I use products from my 20 favorites in 2020, from my 10 before Halloween project pan, from my Partners in Cream project pan. So now you get to see a little bit of everything, and that way you can sort of get to know my way of doing my makeup and mixing up all these products. For example, today I brought my Natasha Denona Glam palette. These I keep on my second everyday makeup drawer now because it's a new product, so I'm trying it out. And the way that I get to try it out is if I put it in the drawer where I have the palettes that I'm working on right now. If I don't do that, then I will not use it. That way helps because I don't forget about new products either that come in either from PR or from a purchase, like the Natasha Denona palette. So if you want to see how I mix it up, creating this fall cool tone look with all of the products from my different projects, then just keep on watching. I'll be using, I know for fall people tend to go for a more full coverage look, but I think that with wearing masks and all, light coverage is where it's at. And even though this is sort of a summer product because of the lightweight characteristic that it has, I'm gonna be using it all year round. Also, I live in a humid, hot weather all year round, but I don't mind that. Even when I was living in New York, I was wearing my NARS tinted moisturizer every single day of the year. And this one also has SPF 30, so it's gonna be great. So this is the tinted moisturizer Natural Skin Perfector by Laura Mercier in the shade 2-in-1 Nude. So you can see here that it makes minimal difference when it comes to coverage, but that's what's wonderful about the product. It's just that it looks seamless on the skin. Here I have it and here I don't have it. I can see the difference, but it's barely there. It's not a product that you will feel heavy on your skin. For my bronzer, I'm going in with the NARS Cappadoce Multiple. This I have in my Partners in Cream project pan, and that's why I wanted to do this video. I wanted you to see how I use my products from my different project pans, as well as the products that I'm trying out on my everyday makeup drawer. And then for concealers, the ones that I have on my rotation are the Stay Naked and the Flower Beauty one. And the Flower Beauty in the shade Light Medium and the Stay Naked in the shade 20NN. So one is darker than the other. I already removed the stopper in the Flower Beauty one, so I will have it for a shorter amount of time because I know that once you remove the stopper, it will have about a month or 3 weeks tops. So this will give me the coverage that the tinted moisturizer didn't, and what I'm gonna do is, since I want them to be even more full coverage, and the Flower Beauty has coverage, but the Stay Naked one is a light coverage concealer, I'm gonna use my little fan and I'm gonna put it on my skin for a while, not that long, and then I'm gonna blend them. To set my face, I'll be going in with my translucent powder by Laura Mercier. If you live in a weather where it's really, really cold and you have drier skin, you don't need to use powder. You can just go in with all cream products and your makeup will look way better and way more dewy. But since I wish I was in fall and I didn't need powder, I always need powder because my nose gets really oily. I have never been dry. Maybe in winter when I was living in New York, but I would still powder my face because my nose, even when I felt drier, tends to get really oily. So yeah, I'm gonna powder my face with the Laura Mercier translucent powder to set everything, and I'm gonna powder my forehead because my forehead, even though it doesn't have makeup right now, it tends to get oily throughout the day, and then it messes up my hair or my bangs. So for my bronzer, I'm going in with the Becca Sun Chaser palette, and this is part of my Panda Face Palette project, the new palette that I added on. And I'm working on Ipanema Sunset, and that's my bronzer that's topping off Cappadocia from NARS. And for my highlight, I mixed the highlight that's on the Sun Chaser palette, which is Opal, which is this one right here, and one that I have in a project pan that's just Rose Gold by Burberry. And this has been the highlighter that I've been using almost every single day since I put it on my project, and I really like it. That's the one that I have on my nose, and then here is mixed with Opal. From the blush project, I grabbed the Rocket Tour blush by Benefit, and I applied it with a Kabuki brush by NARS that I've been loving for blush because it truly buffs the blush or any product that you apply on your face into your skin without removing the makeup that you have underneath. And I find that Rocket Tour is a lot similar to Isadora, and if you have seen my blush project, you probably know what I'm talking about. To buff my face, I'm working on this project as Shop My Stash and on my everyday makeup drawer basically. And this is Moonlight by Hourglass, and this is the one that I've been using to buff my makeup. The shade is not necessarily my favorite, but it works to buff my makeup every day. And when I finish this, I will go and grab Radiant Light again and put it in my collection just as a personal item because I have a Radiant Light that's for my makeup artist kit. But this is wonderful. Any shade that matches you, just grab it. The Hourglass ambient lighting powders, the formula is consistent throughout all the shades. They're just amazing. Now, since I'm going to be working on my eyes, I decided to grab the Kathleen Lights So Jaded palette by ColourPop. And this palette, I have it in the project of the Roulette Pan project. And I'm going to be using just one or two shades from this one just to use it because that's what I've been trying to do with that palette. And then my eye look is going to be mostly from the Natasha Denona Glam palette because I want to do a fall but a cool tone look, which is something that I haven't seen lately. We get so inspired by the leaves and everything from fall, and I love that. I love the warmth of it. But I would like to do more looks with the Glam palette and get to know it better before reviewing it for you guys. So that's why I decided to do a fall cool tone look. For my transition, I'm grabbing Rose Quartz and Royal Jewels together, and those are from the ColourPop palette. Now to deepen up that transition even more, I'm going with the shade Crease, which is a lighter cool tone grayish brown, and I'm using a smaller brush to apply it. Then I'm gonna mix a smoke and lash line, and those are a dark brown and a black together with a definer brush so that I can just start smoking out a liner with shadow. Now I'm going in with a lash line to create a line and define my lower lash line. And then with a pencil brush and smoke, I will blend that out so that I can get it to look more smoked out and not completely grayish black. And then after that, I grab a Q-tip that's clean, and then I remove the excess eyeshadow that's underneath just to make everything look more seamless. Now to create my wing and make it more black, since this palette doesn't have a black, which I'm missing always, I am using the definer brush, grabbing the color lash line, and then I have a little bit of Urban Decay All Nighter on my tray, and that's the way I wet it. So I put the brush first in the shadow, and then I wet it, and then I use it as a liner. For my brows, I'm going in with the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit in the shade 4.5. And this surprisingly has been a favorite when it wasn't before. Since I started using it because I ran out of my Precisely My Brow pencils, I've been just in love with it, and I just know that I could have either or and be happy. I still prefer the Precisely My Brow, but this is a good one when you want an easier way to do your brows. And then to set my brows, since I cut my bangs, they're showing more. So I'm using the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit, and I love that. And that's part of my 20 favorites in 2020 project pan. Okay, now to finish up my eyes, I'm going to put in my upper waterline, this one that I have in my Shop My Stash This is the Rimmel Scandalized Waterproof Black Liner. And then on my lower lash line, I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay 24/7 in Oil Slick, which I have in my Roulette project pan. I don't really like filming that because you guys don't like to watch that. But what I do is I line my upper waterline and then I line the inner rim of my tear duct. And that way the eye can look more elongated, if that makes any sense. It's sort of like the foxy eye technique. And I'm also putting a little bit of Oil Slick on top of the liner that I created with the shadow because it's the same color, but it will leave the sparkle that this eyeliner has on top of it. Look at the difference that it makes. It's subtle, but it's really pretty. And now I'm going in with one of the inner corner products or eyeshadows. I hate that this palette doesn't have names because when you want to talk about a shade in particular, you want that shade to have a name, even if it's a number. It just has to be different from the other ones because palettes tend to be intuitive. You get to use them however you like. You don't have to guide yourself with this one. I think that Natasha Denona always have had great ways to do eyeshadow palettes because she has this system that you can have quads, you can have 6 eyeshadows, you can have a line that's horizontal, you can have a vertical line with the eyeshadows. So it already had everything that a beginner needs to create a look. They just had to find the best little quad or little palette inside the palette to create the look. But now it's just I don't really like this. I just feel like it doesn't really work that way. So I'm grabbing one of the inner corner colors and I'm putting it as an inner corner highlight. And then I'm going in with my Precious from the So Jaded palette, which is basically a nude, and I'm putting that underneath my brow bone. And maybe since I want my eyes to look more open, I'm going to apply my Precious a little bit sort of in a cut creasy way, but only the tiniest amount to open up the inner part of my eye. Okay, so for mascara, I applied my one and only The Lash Freak by Urban Decay. I love it. I didn't apply it with a primer today. And this mascara doesn't smudge on me. I really, really love it. And I like the volume that it gives a lot. I would repurchase for sure. And then for my lips, I'm using MAC Strip Down and the Kevyn Aucoin Thelma Dora lipstick. This is the Unforgettable lipstick. I love it. This is a cream formula. I would highly recommend you checking them out. I have a coupon code with them. I don't know if it's still working, but it's 20% off of these products on lookfantastic.com. So if you can get it, just go get it because it's just the most perfect nude. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have to say, all of the products that I have, they make me happy. Most of the products that I use today, they are good for me. Which products would I like to replace? For example, the concealer, I would like to replace it. Maybe I could even have a Flower Beauty that's lighter, but the Stay Naked concealer, even though I can use it, it's not my favorite. The foundation is way better for me than the concealer. You have darkness on your under eyes. I do, so this one doesn't completely cover it up, so I need to go with something more heavy duty. But these, I would like to switch it to one concealer that I adore. That's why I'm working on them on my everyday makeup drawer. Then the So Jaded palette, you will see an update in my project, in my Roulette project, but this hasn't been blowing my mind. I don't find that the pigmentation is great, but I still have to keep trying it out. I have been unsure about the Natasha Denona Glam palette, but I don't know why. I have a few thoughts, but I will give you guys my full review on a separate video. And then I realized that I've been loving so many products like the Lash Freak. I've been loving it so much that I don't see myself going to other mascaras. I know I will have to because I have other mascaras that I got sent from PR and a few of them that I've gotten throughout the past 2 years as samples or that I purchased from the drugstore that were supposed to go on my makeup artistry kit, but since I haven't been doing makeup, I haven't been using them. And a few things that I forgot about, like the Sun Chaser palette that I used today that I put on my Panda Face palette. It felt really nice to use it.